morning to my candidate attorneys. I think it's still morning, I'm not really sure. Hi. So guys, let's just get into it real quick. I would like for us to talk about the skills that you need to have and hone for the oral exams. I'm too lazy to do a YouTube video. For the skills, for the questions, I will definitely put it on YouTube because we are nowhere close to 500. So please, guys, subscribe on YouTube. I will just be putting the longer videos on YouTube. I'm going to try to keep this under 5 minutes. So let's get right into it. You guys know I don't like to waste time. I like to get right into the nitty-gritty. Awesome. So guys, when you go into an oral exam, I prefer an oral exam over written exam. I'll tell you why. An oral exam depends a lot on how you actually talk to people and how you treat people. So there's a certain people skill that you need to have. Yes, you do need to study. But you also need to have people skills. In life, you need to have people skills. To be a successful attorney, you need to have people skills. To be successful at anything, you need to have people skills, right? Because you could be a brilliant attorney or a brilliant advocate, but you have a terrible attitude, let's use that word. So people won't want to come back to you, even if you win cases. Okay, cool, sharp, whatever, right? I'm not even going to edit this video. I'm going straight into it. So you need to have people skills, right? So prepare yourself like you're going to an interview. You've got the knowledge. We're going to cover questions, right? So they can ask you anything about that subject or that board exam that you didn't pass. They can ask you anything about it. So what's going to happen is you're going to get a date. They're going to tell you on Monday, the whatever of May, you're coming to the LPC in Pretoria, whatever, or the one in Johannesburg, wherever you are in the country. When you get there, you're going to sit outside with other kids or other candidate attorneys, excuse me. I was a kid when I did this. So you're going to sit outside with other candidate attorneys or other people who wrote the board exam, and you are going to be panicking. Because everyone's got their notes out. No. Rule 47, Rule 41A, Rule 2. So don't do that. Because you will have prepared. Because now, if you do that, you're going to panic. And you're only going to recall the things that you were cramming outside. You don't want to do that. Remember, you guys know the trick. And the trick to this is you must know the principles. Because in practice, you can always go back to the book, right? So if you know the principle, you can explain the principle away. You're sharp. Awesome. So you get there, When you get there, and then once your turn, they're going to call you. When they call you, you're going to walk in, and then you're probably going to find 2 people, right? And they're going to ask you about yourself. So when you get in there and they ask you, tell us more about yourself. Good afternoon, good morning. My name's Mbali Mabaso. I used to mention my age back then. It's up to you whether you want to do that or not. So my name's Mbali Mabaso. I am 27 years old. I studied at Stellenbosch University. I have a Bachelor of Arts in Law and Psychology. I have an LLB, and I'm currently completing my Master's in Imports and Exports. And I'm currently working as an attorney at Mabaso Mhlongo and Associates, right? Which is based here in Pretoria. Oh, that's really nice. You're doing your master's. Are you doing it part-time? Yes, I am doing it part-time. They'll ask you, what are you hoping to do after you're admitted as an attorney? Oh, I'm going to give you the answers that I gave. I said to them I was hoping to consult in imports and export because obviously my master's degree was in imports and export. But keep in mind, I'm confident, I'm smiling, I'm having a great conversation with them. I'm not showing them that I'm nervous because not only are you putting yourself at ease, but you're also showing them that you're confident. Shoulders are back. You're having a nice conversation with them. You're confident. Cool. And then they'll tell you who they are. Hi, my name is Mpo. Hi, my name is Johan. Okay, we're going to jump straight into it. Awesome. Then they'll start asking you questions. Guys, we know. If you don't know the rule, give the principle. If you don't know the principle, at least give the rule. But in this situation, they're giving you a chance to talk yourself out of the question. You can cook. Use the chance, guys. You are an aspiring attorney, an aspiring advocate. Talk your way through it. So they'll ask you a question, all right? So you're going to answer the question confidently. If you don't hear them because you're panicking, you ask them, can you please repeat the question, all right? But you're not going to ask them 4 times to repeat the same question. No. When they speak the second time, make sure that you hear them clearly. Ask them to speak slower, right? Awesome. if you don't understand the question, you say to them, I don't understand your question. Can you please clarify the question for me? Don't panic. Don't shoot from the hip. We don't do that. We don't shoot from the hip. We take it slow. Sorry, ma'am, I didn't understand your question. Can you please just rephrase the question for me? I'm not sure I'm understanding it correctly. You can even interpret how you're understanding the question, and they can say, yes, you're correct, and then you can go ahead and give them an answer. And also, you're welcome to say to them, can you please just give me a moment? I just want to process what you're saying. They'll literally give you like a minute, and then you'll be like, okay, from my understanding, sharp. There's nothing wrong with asking for a second so you can gather yourself. There's nothing wrong. There is no shame. Because if you start speaking too quickly, no. With the Rule 27A, no. With the Section 127, when it comes to the NTA, the reason why that letter stand is basically, you're going to have to start again. Now you've probably forgotten because you're panicking. Chill. Relax. They're there for you. They've probably booked you for an hour. If you make this as comfortable for them, they'll ask you a couple of questions and let you go. They can ask you anything. Okay, fine. We move on from that part. All right, you're going to be calm. You can ask for clarity if you need clarity. You can take your time answering the question, right? Answer the question confidently. Even if you're wrong, answer it confidently. They'll appreciate the fact that you're still trying. Don't just say, I don't know. Don't say that you don't know. Because now they're going to level up and ask you an even more difficult question as to, okay, so what do you actually really know? Because at some point, what they do is if they've asked you all the questions and you've answered them correctly, they'll say to you, tell us what else you remember about civil procedure. Walk through the section that you know like the back of your hand. Walk through the elements that need to be in a letter of demand. Walk through an interim application for maintenance when dealing with divorce proceedings. Walk through an Anton pillar. Walk through RAF, the old act and the new act. Walk through prescription in terms of RAF. It happens. They'll be like, tell us what you know about civil proceedings. If they run out of questions, or they might just be like, tell us what you know. You might walk in there, say to you, tell us about yourself, and then you tell them like, okay, cool, tell us what you know about civil procedure. And they'll stop you when they feel like they're happy. Anything can happen in the oral exam. It's not a reason to be scared. It's a reason to be excited. See it as a challenge. Another thing about oral exams is they can ask you a difficult question. And a lot of these questions are the kind of questions you can answer just by applying the bits and pieces that you know from the different subjects that you've studied. Let me give you an example. One question I was asked, and I remember I literally almost freaked out. And this was the last question they asked me. They said to me, if you have a matter that's sitting at the Pretoria High Court, because the LPC in Pretoria is next to the Pretoria High Court, they said to me, please tell us, how do you move a matter from this court to the court in Bloem, the High Court in Bloem? You see. Me at that age, I was just like, bro, at that time I was just like, yes, see, I studied everything. And in those notes, there was nothing about moving one matter from a court in, like a transfer. There's a transfer in the law. Guys, I worked for a medium-sized firm, right? It's one of the biggest firms in Pretoria, né? And we had templates. So we never had to worry about transferring matters. We had advocates for that. We had big shot advocates. We didn't have to worry about those things. I'm sitting there, I'm like, okay. I'm like, I think you would draft a notice of transfer, but I'm not sure. This lady's like, you can't not be sure, ma'am. You need to be certain about your answer because this is a test, this is an exam. And I was like to her, ma'am, I'm really not certain. I've never dealt with that before. And she was like, it's the notice of transfer that you would draft and then you would serve on the other court to let them know, right? You'd serve it at both courts, right? To let them know we're moving the matter from this court to the next court. And she walked me through it. But that was the last question. Everything else I slayed. Because at some point in the middle, they were like, yo, tell us everything you know about civil procedure. And I told them, and then they asked me this last question because they saw I was a Tibinki. I knew a lot. So, confidence. You guys are going to do better than I did because I believe in you. And another section that I really slayed was the part where they ask you about the NCA. They like those little sneaky questions. They asked me about the NCA, section 27 and section 29. So section 27 notice and section 29. Sorry, 127 and section 129. And luckily I knew those like the back of my hand because I used to draft them where I used to work because we used to repossess cars and houses. So you've got this. Prepare for it like it's an interview. Part 2 coming soon.